So good morning, Jude.
Good morning,
Jarvis. Thank you for coming to join us at Valleyfest this morning.
Well, thank you, and thanks to Sol for an amazing day, amazing weather. It's gorgeous.
It's glorious, isn't it?
It is, it's lovely. Yeah.
So I wanted to have a chat with you.
Okay.
Because you are the most amazing person. I've read a lot about you. I've read and understood some of the things that you're trying to put out into the world at the moment. But I wondered if firstly, before I start with my idea about you, whether you could tell us the work that you've been doing and what it means to people.
Well, it's work that's lasted my whole life, basically. It's been more a life journey of exploration. And that exploration has always been, at its most fundamental, trying to understand the nature of reality.
Okay.
You know, the big questions, what is reality?
Yeah.
How does it manifest itself? Why does it manifest itself? Why is the world as it is? And this journey of understanding, but also experiencing and embodying, has really led me step by step along a very scenic route to today and onwards, to understand that the appearance of physical reality, this sort of duality-based appearance, is not its fundamental nature. And as both, if you like, a mystic and a scientist, physicists know that, but they sort of keep away from talking too closely about it. But what we're finding now is that science is finally catching up with universal spiritual experiences to reveal that the fundamental nature of reality is unified. So it's not that somehow mind arises from matter, it's that mind is matter. Matter is mind. And so that's the work, that's the sharing of this, and in ways that hopefully people realise it has a profound relevance for them in their everyday lives. This isn't just a scientific revolution. This is a revolution, I feel, of awareness, of consciousness.
Okay, and you use the word spiritual. I mean, it's a word that people get a bit caught up, don't they, in the word spiritual. What does it mean to you?
I try not to get caught up in it.
Good. Well, immediately people think religion, don't they?
They do.
When you say spiritual. And I certainly don't believe that's what the word is for me.
I think it's a realisation that there is something more to reality and to ourselves than what we see and as an everyday, as it were, on the physical plane. But for me, perhaps the word consciousness.
Consciousness is
it may be an easier way. Awareness.
Yes.
And you know what my work has come to now and going forward is to show people that, you know, when we have experiences that perhaps we don't understand, synchronicities, you know, telepathic bonds with family across the other side of the world, all our experiences can be now encompassed in an emerging worldview that, instead of being fragmented, is literally a whole worldview. With consciousness not something we have, but literally what we and the whole world are.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's wonderful. You know, thankfully you're speaking to somebody that understands this at a level that I've had my own experiences.
Absolutely.
But I wonder if everybody is having these types of experiences, and whether because it's not discussed in a very mainstream way. And the example that comes to me is there's a show called Big Brother on at the moment. One of the characters in there talks about him having his guide in there with him, and they're absolutely taking the mickey out of him on the Radio 1 and you know, in various interviews. And to him, that's obviously a very true experience. His higher self, his guide, is in that environment with him. And how do you think we are going to get around the ridicule that is happening for people talking about these types of experiences within a mainstream environment?
I think in that sense, what sometimes has been mainstream can switch very quickly. I remember 30 years ago when if you said to somebody you're a vegetarian, you got laughed out the park.
Absolutely,
There was, you went into a restaurant, you serve vegetarian food, you've got to be joking. I actually remember even further back than that, when I first went to university when I was 18, and I went to Oxford, and I drank wine for the first time. So here I am, coal miner's daughter, go up to Derbyshire at the holidays, go into a pub and ask for a glass of wine. What? What? So mainstream changes, and I think it changes in a number of ways. It changes when new understanding comes along, and what I'm writing about now is that science is finally catching up with those sort of experiences you're talking about. Now, when that starts to happen, because in the West we look at science as the tick box, you know, science says it's real, if it says it's not, it isn't. But what is happening is science is now catching up. And I also feel that on many other levels, things are starting to converge and move. And in my experiences, people come along and sidle up to me and say, well, actually, I've had this experience. I'm only telling you, I'm not telling anybody else. But the number of times that happens, and I think it is the fear of ridicule. And I think there's work to be done. But I think the evidence is there. I think people are waiting for this. I think the world is desperate for a new and unifying vision of reality that is true, that is authentic, but can bring all their experiences and all their perspectives into a container that is consciousness.
So what I'm hearing you say is, and I love this, is that, because you're right, I went through the vegetarian movement and now I'm a vegan, which equally gets, out of Brighton, it equally gets laughed at. I'm very lucky to live in Brighton, because a lot of people are vegan there. So essentially what you're saying is those of us that have perhaps stood against the tide, have led the way in certain aspects in our own way, need to really step forward and be that again.
I think we do. I mean, when we had our gathering in the House of Lords, my wonderful business partner and friend Gil, who is gay, said that this is the biggest coming out party in history.
Well, beautifully put. Lovely.
You know, when everybody steps into we are me, and we are we, and we are me, and we within the oneness of everything we call reality.
No, it's brilliant, and it just reminded me that the Gay Pride weekend is happening as well. So thank you for reminding me of that. So your book, The Cosmic Hologram, that is an unusual title, to say the least. Just describe what that actually means, the Cosmic Hologram.
Well, maybe I can say it in different words. Over 3,000 years ago in ancient India, the Indian sages that wrote some of the most profound, insightful words, and still completely applicable, describe reality as Indra's net. And what they describe it as is reality is like a myriad of jewels, and every jewel has a myriad of facets, and every facet of every jewel reflects every other facet of every jewel, and every jewel is connected by golden threads of light, and that is the nature of reality. And in a way, the cosmic hologram is that. What the cosmic hologram is about is saying the whole of the cosmos, or our universe. The how and the why of our universe, the how of it, is that it's manifested literally as a hologram of information, more fundamental than energy and matter, more primordial than space and time. Literally, space, time, energy, matter are different complementary expressions of information, not raw data, not randomness, but pattern, dynamic, intentional, purposeful, meaningful. And our universe exists and evolves as a unified entity. And we're its microcosms, we're its microcosmic co-creators.
So let's say that that's the way it is, because that is the way it is. Why have we, as human beings, come into this cosmic hologram, in the most wonderful, gorgeous tapestry of events, to experience life in the way that we've experienced it? What I mean, everybody's asking the question, what's the meaning of life? It seems to be that you may have an answer to that question.
My sense is, as I mentioned, that we are microcosms of our universe soul that was born 13.8 billion years ago, not as a big bang, but as a big breath of consciousness. And constructed in a way as simple as it can be, but no simpler, that enables us, not just us, but the universe to observe and experience itself as a whole, and as its sort of holographic, tiniest bits of itself. And for time to flow and space to expand, so that our universe doesn't just exist, it literally evolves from simplicity to ever greater levels of awareness, both as a whole, and we are microcosms of that evolving awareness. So what are we here for? Well, I don't know about you, but I'm here to have fun and to explore and to experience and to connect with others in the ever deepening realization that I am uniquely me, you are uniquely you. We are intimately interconnected, and we are intimately interconnected with everything we call reality.
Okay. So if that's the case, then why do some of us feel drawn to try and help others to become reconnected with this more divine plan, more divine consciousness, and more connected sense of awareness? Because you're living that. I feel at times I'm living that. There are other people that I have conversations with that are constantly talking about their intuitive ways of living and being in the world, and telepathic connection, and all of these wonderful skills and quite sacred, if you like, tools. But why do we feel drawn to try and help somebody else to reconnect that perhaps are not feeling or experiencing those things?
I think for me the main thing is an invitation. It's not an imposition. But I've had I'm 65. I started experiencing multidimensional realities when I was 4 years old. Yes. So for me this has been a journey of, mysticism, shamanic journeying, but also science too, because I want to sort of bring the Rubik's Cube of reality and go, oh wow, that's exciting, that's wonderful. And for me it's because that realization, not just understanding it but experiencing it and embodying it, is so joyous, is so wonderful. It's like, you find I'm a girl, right? You find a new lippy on wherever you're, guys, this is fantastic, or a new dish, or a new something that is so wonderful, and you just want to share the good news. But it's an invitation to share and to join in the fun.
Okay, so it's like a call, isn't it? It's like
it's an
inner calling.
Yes, an inner calling.
Yeah, no, I can relate to that. And so it seems that what's happening now, because astrologically we seem to be in quite a significant time of change. We seem to have moved from an era of a Piscean age, and we seem to have moved into the Aquarius age. And we all know the Aquarius age is a lot more fluid and a lot more spiritual.
And it is the me and the we.
And it's the me and the we.
It's not the me to the we. It's that sense of self, an authentic self. I talk a lot about music. You're an amazing musician.
Thank you.
But I talk about our universe. And I talk of our universe, and think of our universe as a cosmic symphony in a sense. And we are its microcosmic musicians. So if we're going to come together and play music, if you're out of tune,
absolutely.
So it's being in tune with ourselves, and then we can show up with our own unique note, or our own unique instrument, as it were, and join the orchestra and join the cosmic symphony and play evolution, play joy, play love.
It's wonderful being at a festival environment, because actually this could be a microcosm of actually how the world could be. So there's music over here, and there's people eating organic and gorgeous vegan food over there, and
it's beautiful landscape.
Exactly,
gorgeous
we're
landscape.
out outside in the open. So, but it doesn't feel like your average shopper, walking down Oxford Street and going in and consuming everything that they possibly can in order to get this feeling of self-worth for just a blip of a second. It doesn't feel like most people are wanting to shift and change into a what I would call a more joyful experience. Because I'm here to have a party and have fun.
Absolutely.
But most people seem to be caught up in other stuff.
I think there's a lot of conditioning, as you were talking about earlier. We are social beings, so when there's a sort of prevalent message that says, this is the only reality, mind somehow arises from matter, but there's no meaning, there's no purpose. When that message is coming, and it comes sort of drip feed, but it comes in a very socializing way, then I can absolutely understand why many folks just, you know, it's a hard push sometimes. But what I would say is that I really do feel, and I know you feel, that there is a lot of movement. I think you think back, you know, we're talking about vegetarianism 20, 30 years ago, but you also think back to the days before the internet. I mean, it's not that long. So without sort of judging good or bad, I think there is such a lot of massive movement coming through, and people can change when they're supported in that change.
Okay,
you know?
no, that's fantastic. So ultimately, that's what this is about. It's bringing a support, a mattress, if you like, just for people to lay on.
Yeah, and it's saying, guys, this is safe. This mattress is safe. You know, I talk about the analogy of a car, right? Not everybody needs to know how to build a car, or even to drive a car. You know, people can just be a passenger in the car, but they want to know the car's safe. They want to know it's going in the right direction. What I'm trying to do with this book, not everybody, you know, will get the science of the book or whatever, it's a seed point. But for those who want to understand how the car's built, how reality is built, the book offers a sort of the best view I can at this point offer doing that. But, you know, if you're saying, well, that's fine, I just want to know, is it real, is it true? Then, you know, I would say this is what everything is pointing to. That, you know, the unity nature of reality. And there are more and more and more and more folks who are getting this understanding in their own lives and radiating it out in their own ways of doing so. So I think there's, of course, there are early adopters of anything. But then you get the next tranche of people who see the early adopters, and the early adopters do need to get out the closet and come together and say this. And then we can hopefully invite other folks to come along for this amazing ride.
Come and join the party.
Come and join the party, absolutely.
So where do people get the book? How can people buy
Amazon,
it? Amazon,
Barnes & Noble, any good bookstore. You can get Kindle. It's only been out a few months, but it's already been translated into other languages.
Oh, amazing!
Which is amazing. So
so
and there's lots of. We've got a Facebook page.
Okay, what's the Facebook page?
Perhaps I can't remember.
Never mind. We'll put it on. We'll put it on the end of the link. Don't worry. We'll add it to the end of the video.
And we've got a YouTube channel called Whole World View -view.net.
Whole World View.
I'll give you all of that. We can put it on.
We'll put it all.
I'm not on Facebook.
No, don't blame me.
But Gil is. He does it for us.
No, thank you very much. Well, it's been lovely talking to
And you.
I hope we've covered enough. Do you feel that we've covered enough? Is there anything else you would like to say?
I think just to really be grateful for the opportunity to share, but also be grateful for this time we're in. Because, you know, there is a lot of folks who are very fearful at the moment, and I can absolutely understand that. But I think what we both feel, and all the work we're doing, is to say, you know, that's conditioning. That's the appearance. That is not what the real world is. We talk about the real world, but the real world is unified. The real world has love at its heart. And that's the vibration that we seem to be moving into, is love, isn't it? I think that's a perfect place to end, with love. And we're inviting everybody that's watching this to come and be with us in the space of love. Just leap into love together.
Thank you.